Right, Sean Lennon here with Pro Wrestling Enforcer podcast, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We are doing a Bound for Glory recap. Impact Wrestling ended its almost season long stint in Chicago. It started with Spring Slugfest, then it was Chicago Heat, and then finally Bound for Glory and Bound for Glory Fallout. So we're gonna go over the fallout for Bound for Glory, basically the pay-per-view that happened this past Saturday night. And joining me is a new entry podcast. Evar is joining me. Thank you guys for tuning in, man, and being on PWE. How you guys doing?
Appreciate it. Appreciate it for having us on. I'm Ian, sexy
Okay.
Ian. That's what Ever likes to call me in the bedroom.
No,
And then my co-host Ever, the Forever. And
Yeah.
that's my personal reason why I call him that. But yeah, Bound for Glory was exciting. Had a great time.
Yes.
Some great matches. Where should we start off? How should we start this? It's your show.
Yeah, well, I was going to start with the first match of the night, which was, of course, well, let's talk about the Hall of Fame a little bit. How about that Hall of Fame? What'd you guys think of the Hall of Fame?
I liked it. I expected a little bit better, just because it's the Hall of Fame. But at the same time, it was the pre-show, so and plus it happened in the Cicero Stadium. So if it was somewhere else, I probably would have expected a little bit more. And they did hatch the fact that they only gave them like 30 minutes, and that's including with the Knockouts tag team match. I kind of feel like they should have had more time, especially with Tracy Brooks. And then you had Mike Tenay. Mike Tenay, I could listen to him talk for 3 hours about talking about himself and Don West.
Right.
So that being said, I feel like they should have been given a little bit more time. I felt like it was rushed.
For sure. And you guys go to a lot of wrestling events. I've seen you've gone to WWE events. Have you done other Impact events outside of Chicago?
Yeah. You want to take this one over?
I haven't. I'm trying to go to Vegas. That'd be kind of cool. That's my next goal. Hard to Kill, the first
this guy
TNA show.
He already forgot about Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh yeah, I went to Louisville for Sacrifice last year for my birthday. It was pretty cool. And then I think Ian actually went to the Impact Zone. I think, right? You went back in like 2010 or something.
2012, I went to Sacrifice, and then last year we went to Louisville, Kentucky for Sacrifice as well.
Okay, cool. Now, how do you compare that audience to the Chicago audience? Which was the hotter crowd overall?
That's tough. That's tough because you're comparing Bound for Glory and then Sacrifice.
Okay.
And then I also went.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tough based on pay-per-views, based on who's there, and then the crowd itself. Because I also went to Impact in Orlando when it was Universal Studio. So when I went there for that Sacrifice show, it was a nice crowd, but it was 2 nights of taping after that. And the night where it was Bobby Roode versus AJ Styles, that crowd that night, it was taped, but that was a hot crowd that night. Now, because it was for Bobby Roode to break AJ Styles' streak, as longest reign world champion, and the return of Sting as well. So that was a hot crowd that night comparing to Sacrifice, the actual pay-per-view. But Sacrifice Ever experienced it himself, where he was hesitating about going to Sacrifice. But I told him, when you go to Impact and when you watch it on television, it's 2 different things.
Right.
All right. He said, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. We went to Sacrifice in Louisville, Kentucky. It's Louisville, Kentucky. No disrespect to them, but he thought it's not going to be a hot crowd. But the crowd was going crazy.
Right.
He was surprised. And then when I told him, all right, cool. You saw how the crowd reacted. There was a nice reaction. The crowd was hot for every match that took place. Now go watch it back. He did. And he was like, what was that? You know, everybody was chanting, "This is awesome." TNA wrestling, Impact Wrestling. Everybody was chanting loud and crazy, but you don't get that when you're watching back on Impact. When you watch it on Impact Plus or on pay-per-view, you they that's the one thing they have is that Impact doesn't have the best quality mics to get the fans' reactions.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are people who are chanting loud and
Right.
there are going crazy.
It makes
But
sense.
yeah, but the Chicago fans for Bound for Glory, I will say this, comparing it to the time they were here in Villa Park, this Chicago this year, it was the best one out
Yeah.
of all the years they TNA and Impact Wrestling has ever come to Chicago.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. It was a hot crowd, man. And like you
It
said,
really was.
it's I wonder what their hotbed is. I think Nashville, right? I would assume that's
Yeah,
Impact's hotbed, like where they're gonna get the biggest, the biggest crowds, the biggest reactions. But
for sure.
yeah, that
And also
I
it depends on the location and also it
true.
depends on like the wrestler who's going to
The
be
card.
wrestling and the card and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, the first match I wanted to talk about was a Sabin and Kenta for the X Division Championship. What a great way to kick off the show, right? What a matchup. Kenta coming in there, and I hadn't personally seen Kenta since NXT days, I believe, or I don't know, maybe I saw him in AEW, but
Yeah.
it's been rare. So, another rare appearance for Kenta. And again, the opening match, they were both really into it. They both were going toe to toe. Obviously the X Division title was defended by Sabin by way of the Cradle Shock. And great move and great way to finish the match. You always it was back and forth too. A lot of people loved Kenta. They were cheering for Kenta. And it's crazy to see like how much the fans are knowledgeable of international wrestlers like Kenta, how they've grown with
Right.
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
Well, what was your who you thought was going to go over that match?
Me? My
Yeah.
original pick was Chris Sabin. I thought he would
Was
defend the
it?
X Division title. Yeah, and he's more of like a current Impact roster guy, and obviously he was also set for the next day TV tapings, and I don't think
Mm,
Kenta was not. So I mean, you can always go by. But listen, Kenta could have definitely won and walked away with the title, and not come back for a while. So anything was possible. But I had a feeling that Chris Sabin
yeah,
would
that's true.
retain it. Yeah, I think he has a good reign. What about you guys?
I had a feeling Chris Sabin was going to win, but if it was up to me, I would have had Kenta win just so he could hit the GTS on
Yeah.
Sabin in Chicago.
I
That
think I think oh yeah, I think Saban took more risks with this match. I feel like he was more like when he was younger, because obviously he's not he's older now, so I think this match he kind of went a little he went like more like okay I'm gonna jump out and do more a little
Yes.
bit more than he usually does. So I felt like he brought it more to Kenta because they would have make it. Obviously like if we saw the match and it was disappointing, you'd be like man what if these guys actually like went all out but it looks like they did. Like obviously, like you said, Saban had a match the next night, so he kind of took it a little. He took it a little bit up, but he still kind of like toned it down. And Kenta's like, whatever, I'm gonna be here. It's my
Yeah,
one night.
for sure, for sure. And
yeah,
it,
it
they
was
matched.
the only bad thing I got to say about that match was it was too short.
Yeah,
That's the only bad thing with Kenta. I feel like why would you not give this guy 15-20 minutes, especially when he's going against your champion and also it's Chris Sabin, one of the TNA's OGs, so I
yeah.
feel like time wise it could have been a little bit better. I understand why they didn't get that much time, but I feel like they could have.
Yeah, he did tease
I
the
personally
ghost.
think Bound for Glory should be my bad.
Oh no,
There's like a little delay, but I feel like I
I,
was gonna say I feel like
yeah,
Bound for Glory should be 4 hour, like a 4 hour pay-per-view,
yeah.
especially with the Hall of Fame.
I agree.
So
And basically the women's match was advertised for the pay-per-view, the Knockouts tag team. And they aired it when people were still entering the building, they put it on. I mean, they ran it.
yeah.
And that's like false advertising. My friend was like, we were upset because we did get there a little later. We thought it started 6:30, and we're like, and we missed that match,
Right.
and we thought it was part of the pay-per-view. And I feel like those all 4 women deserve to be part of the pay-per-view card. So I agree with you. They should have made it 4 hours, or at least 3.5 hours to include that one. Totally agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
Or maybe even started sooner.
Yeah, you should see Ever's disappointment when we got to the building, and because she was going to be part of the meet and greet before the show. And so once we got there, Ever went up straight to security and he was like, "So where's the line for to meet Killer Kelly?" He's like, "Oh, there is no line for Killer Kelly. She's gonna be after the show because her match is first."
Oh,
And
I was like, oh.
and so me and Ever took it as oh, she's the opening match for the pay-per-view. Understandable. Literally 5 minutes later, as soon as we found our seats, we literally just found our seats, we sat down, and then her music starts playing. And it was just like, wait, what's going on? And there comes out Tasha Steeles comes out first, and then Deanna Peraza, and then we're just like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's happening? Did we miss something? And then here comes Killer Kelly and Master Slamovich, and then ring the bell, and we're like, wait, is the pay-per-view starting? What's going
yeah.
on?
A lot of people were
Yeah.
confused.
Right. There
Is
was
that it
no
was-
announcement for
No.
the pre-show. You know, this is the before the Impact. There was no announcement, so everybody was confused. I even checked online, you know, like in the wrestling group pages and all that. Even people are posting up saying, "Oh, I can't wait for Killer Kelly's match." And I'm just like, did they not air her match on on YouTube or something? Because
No,
they
not
they
live.
did it.
It wasn't live. They posted afterwards. Like it was posted on Sunday or Monday.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's messed
On
up.
YouTube for free.
Yeah.
Wow, they
so
gave that
didn't-
match for free.
Yeah, basically they screwed up, so they're gonna give it away for free. Did you know that this match, Kenta, he did tease to go to sleep.
He did tease it, but he did not
Yes.
hit the move
Yeah.
though.
Yes, he didn't hit the move. And did you know that apparently on commentary, Matthew Renholt said that Kenta was the only wrestler to ever knock him unconscious.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't know
I did
about
not
that.
knew that part.
I'm reading some notes here on that. Yeah, so well, that was on the live broadcast, I guess. So that was pretty interesting. And
Oh, wow.
I hope we get more of Kenta in Impact Wrestling. It's been a while since he's been featured there, so
Sure how they do it
Kenta?
because he's part of the Bullet Club and there's the American Bullet Club. Does he go out with them or is it like a separate entity? You know?
I'm not sure. The whole Bullet Club thing confuses me with the Bullet
Yeah.
Club Gold and AEW and then ABC and Impact. So
I love ABC. I love them. Too
Me too.
sweet. It's a great name, a great group. Yeah, it kind of sucks because they're part of the Bullet Club, but at the same time, it's weird because it's like they're baby faces, and then AEW and New Japan, they're all heel.
yes,
So I feel like it's just one of those things where it's like, I think they should get away from that because honestly, I don't think they need them. They did needed the Bullet Club when they were in New Japan,
right.
but now it's like, okay, you guys made a name for yourself. You guys are a serious tag team, and I don't know if you guys want to jump into talking about this match already, but you know they wrestled the Rascals from
Yes.
Bound for Glory, and it was one of the matches of the night. It could have been match of the night if it wasn't for Will Ospreay and Mike Bailey,
Right.
you know. But that's another match that was like very entertaining. It was a great wrestling. It was great tag team matches. Honestly, the ABC and the Rascals, they make me forget about the Young Bucks.
Yes.
Like
that's a good
how,
thing.
yeah, that's how great they are. And like I said, that another match that was so great, but it was so short. It was like a 10-minute bout.
Yeah. I agree.
And yeah, I don't know. But what were you guys think? What you guys thought about that match?
Oh man, they're all 14, all 4 guys in this matchup were just explosive from the get-go. Like there's very little in terms of the warm-up process, you know. They're just nonstop flying at each other, flipping, everything they do is just crisp, is smooth. It's the execution is perfect. You know what I
Right.
mean? This is the kind of wrestler, you dream about being, you know what I mean? This is the kind of
Mhm.
wrestling you dream about wrestling. If you're a fan or if you're a video game player, you know what I mean? It's like, wow, it's spectacular what they do. And I think that Trey Miguel has never been better since him and Zachary once teamed up. I think
Thank you.
I know he's
Thank
been
you.
through this all these different phases, and I
Right.
did I liked it when he turned heel finally, when he spray paint X Division title,
Mhm.
and then what led up to this, getting away from being Spider Trey, or you know what I mean,
Right.
fan friendly Trey Miguel. I like the attitude. I like I like their new gimmick or whatever, their new appearance. Their appearance is great. You know everything, the look.
He
They're
he's
amazing.
doing he's doing the Chris Jericho gimmick.
Mhm.
Chris Jericho stays the same, but his
Yes.
look is what changes.
Mhm.
His character changes a little bit.
Yes.
So Trey Miguel, he's gonna be around for a long time
Yeah.
because he's doing stuff like that where it's like the way how I wrestle in the ring is the same, but I change my character when I need to.
Yes.
I don't use the same character when I'm a good and bad guy. That's why we lost so many great talents throughout the years because they don't
Right.
want to change their gimmicks,
I know.
you know.
That's
So it's
true.
like you gotta change your ways to keep getting booking, and that's how you make more money. It's by being on the
Yep.
show. You don't maybe you still get paid when you're backstage, but when you're in front of the camera, that's where you make more money.
Of course.
Especially ring. And Trey Miguel is one of those people where they keep involving. Same thing with ABC, Chris Bay and Ace Austin, both still wrestlers. What if they told Scott Demore, we don't want to be attacked, I want to be those.
Yeah.
They probably would have been released, or maybe just be backstage not doing anything. But now they're the one now because they joined forces, they're part of the Bullet Club, and now they're like the top. Now they're tag team champions, but now they're like the hottest tag team in
Yeah.
Impact, not just in Impact, basically in New Japan as well.
I think that they almost Ace Austin on his own almost peaked too soon, and he needed this change to happen, to join the
Yeah,
Bullet Club.
yeah, and it's Ace Austin still has the same gimmick,
Mm-hmm.
but he switched up his look.
Yes.
So and that's sometimes just little things like that is what's going to help you keep getting bookings. you know it's not so much of the booking. Well, that's more for him to make more money, but for Impact in general, that's how you keep getting put in storylines and on television, because you keep
Right.
changing and you're willing to do whatever it takes
For
to be
sure.
on television.
Yep, that was a good matchup. Man, so many close pinfalls, and you know what I mean, throughout the close calls, near falls, and it's awesome. You know what I mean? Just an action packed
Yeah, no,
match.
for sure.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
full of
that
athleticism.
just like the X Division match, the only bad thing I could say is that match was just too short.
Yeah. What do you guys think of Monsters Ball, Rhino, PCO, Moose, and Macklin?
So I'm just gonna say this: every match that took place at Bound for Glory was just too damn short.
Yeah,
Let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah.
this
Let me
one
just
was painful though. I
this
can't
one,
imagine.
this one went straight to the point. So this
Yeah.
one just needed the 12 minutes. It
Yes,
went
I think
straight to
this
the
was.
point.
You don't want to
Yeah,
see them go anymore.
right. And plus I think Moose, well, actually, no, Moose, age-wise, I think age-wise, Steve Macklin is probably the only one that's like, hey man, you can still take this Monster Balls match. Everybody else, it's like, god damn, poor PCO. PCO took the most of it. But
Yeah,
he
dude.
always does. And I mean, and then he wants to give the people what their money's worth. But
Right.
sometimes it's like, damn, bro, I didn't spend that much on tickets. You ain't got to
Yeah.
do all that. So, but
What I
no,
thought was,
go ahead.
I don't know if they need to do this anymore, but when they were locked in the closet thing, with I was like, I don't know, that's kind of like you like you kind of know they're not in there for 24 hours. We're like, okay, I don't know. It was kind of weird for me that beginning part. I think it's part of the match, right? Like the original match, like Abyss was doing it. So
Yeah.
it was kind of like a weird way of doing it. I'm like, oh, these guys are, these guys are like, my eyes. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I don't like that at all either. The
Yeah.
whole they're locked in the closet or somewhere for 24 hours with no
Yeah.
drinks, no light, no food, and it's just like
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, but if that's a legit thing, I was like, you think I'm gonna do a monster ball in an empty stomach? You're crazy. It's like
21.
who is that for? You know? It's what's funny is that I would believe the fact that they killed off Eric Young on television, but put these four men in a closet for 24
Yeah.
hours with no food and drinks. I would not believe that part.
Or Johnny Bravo got killed. Remember, he got shot
Johnny
Yeah.
Bravo, he got shot.
and he died. Right? Did he die?
I don't think no, he made a full
Oh,
I
he
think
made a
recovery.
full
Taya
recovery.
actually,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no,
Taya got locked up. She went to jail.
yeah,
Right. Yeah, that's more believable than this.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll believe that. I'll believe all that the Impact has done.
Yeah.
But them being locked in the closet for 24 hours, I was like, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
No, I got
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I thought it was fun though. It was a big, a lot of weapons and a lot of barbed wires, thumbtacks, cinder blocks. The tables were even wrapped in barbed wire, steel chairs. So I mean, it gave that hardcore element that that the show needed. That shows
Right.
Impact is versatile, has something for everyone, and but there was no blood. I was surprised. Right? Was there any blood in this one?
I think from Steve Macklin, but that was just very little though.
From his
Okay.
head a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
And then PCO had like the thumbtacks in his head, but you
Oh,
could
he
see him
did.
like they're shining. You're like, oh man, they're literally in his head. And it's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it. There's no like blood,
Yeah, right. Like All Out, you go back to All Out, like 3 or 4 matches had blood. It was like
yeah,
visible blood.
Every match, John Moxley, CM Punk,
Yeah,
Kingston, like there's always somebody bleeding in AEW.
yeah.
It's just this sometimes it's just like why you you guys just started off with a headlock. How are you bleeding already?
Right.
But back to the Heart Monster Balls match. Yeah, it was a great match. I'm glad that they finally had a Monster Balls match in Bound for Glory, because Monster Ball
Yes.
at Bound for Glory, it feels right, because it gives that little Halloween thing, like a Halloween theme match. But I'm happy the PCO re-signed with Impact
Me too.
Wrestling. So I'm very happy and I'm very excited about that. That guy is definitely gonna be world champion one day. He's a former Ring of Honor champion, which is crazy to
Yeah.
think about. At the age of around after 50, he became a
Yeah.
Ring of Honor
That's
champion.
crazy.
So sooner or later, he's gonna be into by the time he becomes world champion, it's gonna be TNA wrestling. So yeah, I wish he the one thing I will say, I was surprised that he did win the match, just because at the moment he wasn't gonna re-sign with the company.
Right.
That he just extended his contract till Bound for Glory. Bound for Glory was technically gonna be his last match. So the fact that he won, I thought it was like, oh, okay. I guess it was just more just like a thank you kind of thing. And then
Right.
finding out he re-signed with the company. So
Mm.
I'm happy about that. I'm happy
Yeah.
with the outcome as well.
For sure. And Ever, what did you think? Did you like the match?
I did like the match, but where I was sitting, it was kind of like hard to see because I was like the
Oh.
shortest person. I was short, and the people in front of me were like tall. But what I heard was good, like the table breaking
Yeah.
and I heard the ladders and all that. But I saw some parts, especially when Bully Ray like threw Macklin off into the table. That was
Yes.
a cool spot. Everybody was like loud for that because that's kind of a feud that was brewing for a while, right? Like a little bit.
Yeah. That we had to mention Bully Ray getting involved as well.
Yeah. It was kind of weird that he got involved. It just because it didn't he didn't have to be involved. He didn't have to push Steve Macklin, is what I should say.
Right.
Maybe just to show up and distract Steve Macklin, sure. but him pushing him, it was just like, oh, you guys are just getting into this feud then.
Yeah.
Because I really did get confused with the Team 3D, that on the 1000 episode, Bully
Right.
Ray just magically turned face, and then finding out, rumor has it that he was no longer with TNA, but then yet he's still there. So
Right.
it's one of those things where it's like, okay, what's going on? I mean, I'm happy he's still there. I
Yes.
truly believe he belongs in Impact Wrestling. I mean, that's where Bully Ray's career, the name of Bully Ray got started off. So he truly is like one of the guys for TNA Wrestling. But yeah, but the match itself, I did enjoy. And with Steve Macklin, I thought he should have won.
Yeah.
But, this match was just one of those things where it was like, how did we get here? I'm not complaining. It was just like, how do we get here? The feud was with Rhino and Steve Macklin, Moose and PCO, and then somehow became a fatal four-way. Bully Ray got involved. Now it's Steve Macklin and Bully Ray having a feud. So it was just one of those, like, you know what? We have too many matches on the card. We're
Right.
just gonna get these two matches and put it into one, make a Monster Balls match. I feel like that's what happened. But like what Ever said, there were some moments where it was difficult for me to see because there was a lot of people standing up.
Oh, you guys were on the floor, right?
Yeah, we were on the floor.
Yeah.
So thinking, I honestly thought that they were gonna fight in the audience. I'm thinking
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, cool. They're gonna come. They're gonna be with us. And no, it never happened though.
Long
Yeah.
story short, it was really contained. It was a good match. It was very like, we'll
Yeah.
bleed this much. We'll throw you on a chair on a table, and then we'll keep it in the ring, in the ring area, and that was it. Nothing
Yeah.
crazy like
You gotta go to a GCW show. That's where they find
Oh
the
yeah.
crowd. They'll fight right by you. What was the
Dude, that's
last
what I'm
show?
probably gonna do next.
What was the last show they were fighting right in front of me? I forget. It was either GCW or some indie show I went to, and they were just fighting right in front of me, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Warrior Wrestling, I think. Warrior Wrestling. They fought. They went up the damn stairs right by me.
Well,
Oh wow,
I still
nice.
haven't posted the videos. Miss Kate, she's like, hit her, go hit her for me. She was passing me by. And then Brian
Like,
Keith.
is that even allowed?
Yeah, Brian Keith was in. Yeah, Brian Keith Santana. Yeah, that was when they were literally right by me because they literally walked up the aisle, and I was sitting like right on the aisle seat. They were walking right by me, fighting and talking to me. So yeah, but yeah, good match. And then next up, we have to talk about Ospreay and Bailey. Man, what an amazing man! And we knew that going into this, it was going to be. This match just jumped out at you like this is going to be spectacular. And man, did they deliver? It was just like it was vintage Will Ospreay. What do you guys think of Will Ospreay coming out as the aerial assassin now and coming out with his older theme music? Did you guys have noticed that? It began back on Forbidden Door, I believe.
I'm gonna let you go first, Ever, because I'm whatever I gotta say is gonna be like 10 minutes.
I mean, I didn't really follow. I mean, I know about Ospreay, but I didn't follow him that much. Obviously, I know who he is and stuff, and I've seen his matches and Ref Pro and the Indies. Obviously, when he came to Warrior and other promotions. But yeah, I mean, he just has like this energy about him. Like you kind of know he's gonna like steal the show. That's what I know. This match didn't have a build up. So I was
No,
like, okay, for me, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't care. This match is gonna be really good. And I think Ian said it. I think we were watching it live. He's like, Osprey's letting Bailey like do his thing. He's not like, hey, we're just gonna cut it here. Just go for it. That's what I thought the match was like. Okay, these guys are just respecting each other. They respect each other so much. You're like, you know what? Let's go 20 minutes or so. Or how long was it? Like 20 minutes or so?
18
Just go
minutes.
18, 20 minutes. Like, let's just go out there and steal the show. And they did,
Yeah. Yeah. Unbelievable matchup. What'd you
It
think?
was. The entrance, I always loved his entrance. To be honest, I never really like follow. Will Ospreay's entrance is not one of those entrance for me where I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool. It took me a while for like even it's something like John Moxley. Like I heard John Moxley's theme song for years already, but it was never until I went to All Out. No,
Right.
yeah, All Out. That's when I was like, oh, okay, this is a good song, you know?
Mhm.
And that's when I started like listening to his theme song and started
Yeah.
paying attention to it more. But for Will Ospreay, I haven't got there yet. But his atmosphere when he walked out through those curtains, I mean, I got to see him at Windy City Riot, but it was kind of difficult because we were in the floor seats.
Right.
So it was kind of difficult to watch to see whatever was happening and unless they were standing up, but when they were on the ground, it was difficult. But so when I got to see him in Bound for Glory, this time I was just like, nah, screw that. I don't care if I'm blocking people's view. I'm standing up for this match and I'm paying attention to it. And it was just like it's one of those matches where I'm just like trying to break kayfabe here, but it's just one of those matches where it's just like how do you call that stuff in the ring? You know, how do you have to, there's no way that Will Ospreay, Mike Bailey could just say, hey, I'll see you out there. It's like, there's no way.
Mhm.
You guys are too good where you guys could just, just go out there and do all that stuff and have perfect timing with each other. It's like, you guys have to rehearse this. You have to go over your matches. It's just, I just find it so hard to believe that you guys are just able to go out there and just say, I'll see you out there, brother, and we'll call it out there. Just feel each other. Cause that's how, certain people do wrestle that way. But with them two, it's just like, oh my, it's just, there's no way. So bell to bell, that match was great. So many, what's it called? Close calls, thinking Will Ospreay's gonna win here, Mike Bailey's gonna win here. Just so many near falls, so many
Yes.
like if this match would have ended right here, I would have been fine. But the fact that it kept going, it was just like,
I know.
oh my gosh, like this match wasn't like, it was just like, again, it was like the fact that if it ended right here, I'm fine. But it kept going. Again, if it ends right here, I'm fine with it. Oh, you guys are gonna keep going? All right, cool. It was just nonstop until we got that final blow with the Stormbreaker, and that match alone that could have been the main event for Bound for Glory. And if it was, I would have not been mad about it.
Yeah, incredible. Incredible
Match.
Well, we were just talking about Bound for Glory. What a matchup between obviously Will Ospreay and Mike Bailey. And what is next is the question, right? For both these guys. And what is going to be Will Ospreay's future?
Ospreay?
Yeah. What do you guys think? I know he has a match this Friday for Turning Point on Impact Plus, right?
Yeah, he's gonna be facing Eddie Edwards.
Yes, Eddie Edwards. That's also
That's gonna be a classic match. I'm very excited. I'm also very disappointed because me and Ever we're actually gonna go up north in Milwaukee to go see Friday Night SmackDown.
Oh, okay.
So unfortunately, we won't be able to see that match live. But we're gonna watch the replay of it. But yeah, I was hoping to watch it live. And that's the thing. The other thing with Impact, where I'm so annoyed with Impact Wrestling, where it's like, stop acting like you guys don't have fans.
I know.
You guys do, because if you guys didn't, you guys wouldn't even be around for 20 years already.
Right.
So it's like, especially with a big match like that, Eddie Edwards and Will Ospreay, it's just like, why are you just like, here you go. This match is going to take place a week after Bound for Glory.
Yeah.
I understand it's because they're going to the UK, but they could have done that a little bit better.
Right.
A little bit better.
I think Will Ospreay is
going to clearly that's going to be the main event.
Yeah. Yeah. Will Ospreay is going to be tied up for the rest of the year with his commitments to New Japan. And then I believe Wrestle Kingdom. will be airing the same, around that time that the next TNA pay-per-view will be airing. So it might coincide though in the future that he might come to Impact Wrestling, and you heard he was all down to say he wanted to compete in a TNA ring, and let's stop and talk about that. Impact Wrestling now is going to be known as TNA after January 13th. Hard to Kill.
Right.
What do you guys think of that?
So mistake. So my mistake. Point. I believe it's going to be November 3rd, not October 27th.
Oh,
I think. So actually, I have no idea, because on Impact Wrestling it's saying that it's gonna be live this Friday on the 27th, but then it's also saying it's gonna be on November 4th. So I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, that's kind of weird.
right.
But yeah, anyways, regardless if it's gonna be, I mean, hopefully it's November 3rd, because then I'll be able to see it live. But regardless, Will Ospreay and Eddie Edwards it's gonna be a hell of a match. And to what you just said about Impact Wrestling being and Hard to Kill, I'm very excited. I'm planning on going over there, and especially the whole video package, what they did after the main event. I was just I had goosebumps. TNA wrestling has always been the reason why I don't hate on AEW is because I understand the fans, because
Right.
the fans who love AEW, I was that person for TNA wrestling. I shouldn't have to convince people why I like TNA wrestling.
Right.
Just like I do. Do I like it a little bit better than WWE? Sure. But the thing is, WWE is what opened doors for me to look outside the
Right.
company, TNA wrestling. So, so when I saw the logo of TNA wrestling and Hard to Kill, I was like, bro, like if I was gonna cry, I'd be like, I'm fine crying. Because it was just like goosebumps, and like I got so tired of saying Impact Wrestling, man. It's just like
Three letters is better than 6, right? Or 5 or 6.
saying Impact and TNA Wrestling. It's just, to me, that sounds like two different companies. But
Yeah.
it's the same brand, It's like basically your girlfriend, and then you guys break up, got back together, but she's like, "Don't call me that no more. This is my new name." And it's just like, okay, I guess. And then finally to the point where it's like, oh yes, I'm getting my old girlfriend, the one who I truly fell in love with. That's how it feels.
Yeah.
That great, so awesome.
It's nostalgia. I'm surprised they didn't have T-shirts ready to go. Like,
Oh man, they
I
would be
would, if
making
they did,
bank.
I would have bought one.
Oh yeah, for sure. I really thought they would have. I actually went to the merch to see if they had one. I even wanted the shirt that says the Bound for Glory. I was there. I wanted that. And I thought, I'm like, oh,
they sold out. Are you there? Oh, I hope I didn't lose you guys. I hope I didn't lose you guys. You guys there? Okay.
yeah. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. All right. I don't know. You were going off, and then it just froze.
Are we freezing on your end?
Yeah, you are. You are, unfortunately. Might be my connection.
You are.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just try it.
I mean, yeah, it is raining, so
yeah. We could just
that
try
probably has
audio.
because don't you live in Chicago, right?
Yeah, I live in the north side of Chicago. Yeah. It's crappy.
Yeah, when you guys get rain, it mess up your
Yeah, it does. Everything gets messed up. But yeah, you were talking about the whole change, the whole name change. And I'm excited for it because, like, people always consider Impact to be like you tell people, WWE fans or AEW fans, Impact Wrestling is awesome. What is that? TNA. Oh, okay. Now we know it. We know it's TNA. And I heard that the
Right.
executives themselves, they love the brand TNA. So like the people on the inside of working inside this company, they would refer to Impact Wrestling as TNA, internally. That's another thing I read. So it only made sense to
Right.
change it. It's time.
It's like how you have people that are like fans of WWE. They loved WWE before it was WWF. Like, oh, they watched it like 10 years ago. WWF are like, no, it's been WWE for like 20 years. Like, oh no, I remember it was WWF. It's like the same kind
Right.
of thing. Like they still
Yes.
call it WWF, even though it's like been W for 20 plus years already. It's the same
Yeah.
kind of like fans will know. Like, oh yeah, TNA, I know about that, but Impact, I don't
Right.
know what that is.
Right.
WWE, I don't know what that is, but I know what WWF was. Like, it's like, oh wow,
And
the
then
energy and
40
stuff.
years, and then 40 years from that, it used to be WWWF.
Yes.
So
So those people don't know about WWE now. Like, oh, what's WWE? Like, oh, I watched it. It was WWWF. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a great thing. And it was awesome how they
uh,
they executed it as
people,
well.
I'm surprised people know WWE.
Yeah. It was
No,
great how
go
they
ahead. I think there's like a delay going on.
yeah.
All
I
right.
think it was great how they executed it as well with the video package and everything on display. Well, we'll just get through the
Great way
next.
how to end the show. The only thing is that yeah. Damn, there's like a big
I
delay.
know. You there? Okay. So I was gonna say we can go over the rest of the
Yeah.
matches. If you want, we could just go through the rest of the matches with the time we got left. What do you guys think of Call Your Shot Gauntlet? It was one. It went down to Jordan Grace and Bully Ray, but the appearances throughout, we had Sonny Kiss, which was unannounced, and Matt Cardona was there. And I
Matt
believe Matt
Cardona.
Cardona has been of Impact since 2022, right?
Is that when he came back? No, I think he's been in 21, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but I mean,
I think he came. Yeah, yeah,
how long had it been since he'd been in Impact? I think it was like a year.
almost 2 years. Because when he first made his debut, it was at Hard to Kill. The one where during the pandemics,
Okay.
where the main event was Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers to face Rich Swann, Chris
Oh,
Sabin, and Moose. That's when Matt Cardona made his debut against Ace Austin. And so he's been with the company since I think he got released this year in 2023
okay.
and made his return at the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. But I don't think he re-signed with the company. I think he was
No,
just like there to make an appearance.
for sure. And I thought that was awesome. Sonny Kiss looks like Sonny Kiss is now signed with Impact Wrestling because
Oh,
she
that's
was there
a
the
good
next day.
signing. That
Yeah,
is a very good signing.
she was there the next day, and she competed against Trinity for the Knockouts Championship.
Ooh, nice.
Right. So you guys have to tune in.
Donnie, that's a good signing. I feel like Joey Janela will be a
Mhm.
good signing for TNA as well,
That's
especially when he
interesting.
does all that hardcore matches. And I feel like
Yeah.
he'd be great for the X division as well.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Has he ever competed for or done anything for Impact in the past?
Not that I know of. Not that I
Okay.
know of.
I
Maybe
never even thought about
dark
that.
matches. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe dark matches, but actual television or pay-per-view events, I would have to say no.
Okay.
So
A lot of wrestlers are getting a second lease on life, and so, yeah, going into that gauntlet, what did you think of Jordan Grace winning it?
I called it.
Okay.
I called that she was gonna get the W. What surprised me was Bully Ray put her over.
Yeah.
That was the shocking moment for me. But I called it for Jordan Grace, and I called it that she was gonna cash it in. I didn't thought she was gonna cash it in at Hard to Kill, but I'm glad that she is, because then that will be her second time main eventing Hard to Kill. Last year, or technically, well, this year was her defending the Knockouts Women's Championship against Mickie James. Now, next year at Hard to Kill, she's going to be in the main event once again, but this time she's going to challenge for the World Heavyweight Champion. So that's going to be a big upgrade for Jordan Grace's career.
Yes,
Huge.
for sure. She will be taking on Trinity for the Knockouts Championship.
She is?
I think, yeah, she said that. And the next day, she said, I'm going to cash this in at Bound for Glory for the Knockouts Championship.
No, it was a hard to kill. She's
I mean,
gonna
that's
cash
what I
it in.
meant. Hard to kill.
Yeah.
She said, but she said it's going to be for the Knockouts Championship.
Oh, not for the Impact World title?
No.
Surprised by
Ah!
that, right? She beat a man in the ring, but she's going for the Knockouts title.
Yeah, she's going for the Knockouts Championship. But that's still going to be a great match, her and Trinity.
Yeah.
Boo.
I know. I
Could be
thought
for
the same
Impact
thing. I
World
was like,
Heavyweight Championship.
I know. I thought she would challenge as well. I mean, she's definitely capable of going intergender and winning that belt. But
If she could pick up Bully Ray, she could pretty much beat anybody. Bully Ray's not a small guy,
yes.
you know.
Oh, I know.
That's
Yeah.
true.
What'd you think of Crazy Steve? He got
That
involved in that,
sucks.
in that battle royal too. Remember that? That was just kind of weird. He just attacked. Who did he attack?
Hey, finally, they're using him.
Yeah.
Who?
Macklin? No.
No. Who the hell did he
No, who did you
attack?
talk?
Why am I
Lu-
throwing? Was it? It was.
No.
It was Johnny Swinger, I think.
Well, I think he was Dreamer.
No, he went for someone in particular. Johnny Swinger.
Oh yes, it was him
Yeah.
because he's good friends with Tommy Dreamer.
Yes, he attacked.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Swinger.
Yeah.
I did love the ECW rub they did.
Mhm.
You know, when like Bully Ray came out, then Rhino came out, and then was that a different match? No, I think I'm confusing it. Was
Probably
it the
getting
Kali
confused with-
shot? No,
No,
Rhino
you
wasn't
probably-
this one. Never mind.
It was the Monster
Wrong one.
Balls match you
Monster-
got
Yeah.
confused with.
Yeah, sorry. I was like, wait a minute.
For sure.
And Tommy made the save, and I think they had a match the next night, right?
Yes, Tommy made and Crazy Steve had a match at Fallout. Yeah, I thought the gauntlet was fun. The fans were into it, and Jake something I thought was going to win it all. That was my pick. He was dominating, and all of a sudden he get to the final four, and then he got eliminated.
I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes I forget about Jake something.
Yeah,
When he first came out, I'm just like, "Oh, you're still with the company." They're
No,
not
he
using
He
you.
left. We came back. He's like,
Yeah. That's
He's good.
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I forgot he re-signed with the company again.
yeah,
They're not using him properly.
yeah. Well, he's in AAW, so he's going to be there this Friday. He's one hell of a talent in AAW, which is a local Chicago promotion. But I find like he's more entertaining there than in Impact Wrestling. He just squash matches,
Yeah.
and then he doesn't really do much to advance his career in Impact. So let's hope that changes. I was hoping he would win this Call Your Shot gauntlet. He didn't. So Jordan Grace wins, and this was like a historical win for her because that's the first time she won Call Your Gauntlet. And was she like the only woman to win that match? She the first woman to win the Call Your Shot gauntlet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She will. She is. The first is Rhino back at 05, and then they brought it back, and I believe they brought it back at 19.
Yeah.
19 it was Eddie Edwards. Then
Yes.
20 was Rhino. 21 was Moose. And then 22 last year was Bully Ray. And then this year is Jordan Grace, who defeated Bully Ray, who won it last year. So
Right.
wow.
Yeah. And then the next match is get to is Mickie James on her wild ride or her retirement ride, the last ride, as she calls it, or the last rodeo, and she took on Trinity for the Knockouts Championship. And what did you think of the match? What did you think of the crowd? I felt the crowd was a little tired at this point. They weren't as, you know what I mean, into it as the other matches, which was, you know, disappointing. I thought they had a heck of a match. Both of them did amazing, Trinity and Mickie James. And for Mickie James, like these matches, getting to see her perform live is getting more rare. And you know what I'm saying? And this was the first time she performed at the Impact Chicago event since they came back last year, I believe. She was not part of any of the events, and even this year. So this was the only event she was a part of this year, and she was not at the Fallout for Bound for Glory. So again, another rare appearance for Mickie James. I hadn't seen Mickie James live since probably WWE. So what'd you guys think of the match?
I do agree with you when you said the crowd wasn't really into it. The crowd was kind of tired and all that, and we were kind of burned out from that point on. But to be honest, when it comes to Mickie James and Trinity, they're not flashiest. Like the flashiest when it comes to in-ring performance, but they still give us that performance. They give us what Mickie James does.
Right.
Trinity gives us what she does. We don't expect these two women to give us 5-star matches. We're there to see Mickie James and Trinity. We want to see them do what they do, you know?
Right. Yeah.
It's like if you're a fan of their work, there's a reason, because it's like they do stuff in the ring that it's entertaining. You know, we're not expecting like a Will Ospreay and Mike Bailey kind of match. It's like, no, you're gonna get a Mickie James and Trinity match. And when it comes to Mickie James, you never get a bad match. You always get a good or a great match with Mickie.
Yes.
You know, she gives you like 4-star matches, between 3 to 4 stars, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
You know, there's nothing wrong with that.
And it's better than seeing her.
Got burned out from like the. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it's better than seeing her in a 3 to 5 minute match in WWE.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think initially before you're there, like, okay, this match should be the co-main event. But then when you're like see the other matches, that's why people got burned out so much. It's because they saw, call your shot. They saw the Ospreay and Bailey. So this match, like I said, like I think it wasn't like the flashiest match. So that's why it seemed like we were like, oh, like it's almost over. I think honestly, if the match was moved to like number 1 or 2. It could have been probably be like, everybody been like, oh, it was a great match, but overall, like, we won't be as like tired, during that match. So I was like, oh man. So it was like a climax. It was like the Ospreay and the Bailey, and then the call your shot, and then we kind of like, okay, we're going back to normal,
I think what they should have done is they should have put this in between Ospreay and the main event. So they should have had Mike Ospreay and Mike Bailey. They should have moved Call Your Shot to like the second match or the first match. And it's just a suggestion, not saying that it would change anything, but maybe the crowd would be more invested in it.
And it was crazy because me and Ever, we did like a prediction video, right, for our podcast, and we put this match as the main event. We assumed it was going to be the main event because it was promoting the show and the match on NBC News.
Oh, right.
Mickie James return. There was rumor that this is Mickie James' last match before she goes back to WWE, or she may retire for good, So there was a lot of, and also like there was more build up with the Knockouts match than it was with the Impact Wrestling, and also with the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. It was a rematch, but this time Alex Shelly is the world champion, because they faced each other last year at Emergence. So it was a rematch. So this is the first ever rematch that was going to take place in Bound for Glory. So I assume that Trinity and Mickie James, or even Will Ospreay and Mike Bailey, were going to be the main event. you know, because they never had a rematch main event for Bound for Glory before. So I thought that wasn't like, okay, maybe this isn't going to be the main event, but it had it was kind of more personal between the two because Alex Shelley said it himself. I don't feel like a world champion because I haven't beat you.
Right.
Because nobody beat you for the title. Technically, you're still undefeated.
Wow.
And, you know, but so that's why I felt like Mickey James. So I was kind of like, I was okay with the match because I was just like, okay, it didn't close out it closed out the show. Then I would have been pretty disappointed with the outcome of the match. But for semi-main, I was pretty satisfied with the
Yeah.
match. Shocked that Mickey James tapped out because I don't recall her ever tapping out.
Yeah.
So that was the most. So the match itself was good, but when I saw Mickey James tapped out, I was just like, "What? Did she just tap out? Was that the first time ever?" So that's the only thing that made me still talk about that match alone.
Right.
But it's something as little as that of just Mickey James tapping out is what makes me still talk about it. It's like that's all you got to do. You know.
Yeah. For sure.
It's yeah.
I have a question for both of you because I'm kind of confused, right? Well, I'll probably watch the Impact the least, I think. You can tell. But I thought that every match that Mickey James was gonna be in was gonna be like a last match. After this match, I didn't seem like she was gonna be like, okay, I lost, I'm retiring. There was no it didn't drag out where she's in the ring and she's like put her boots, you know what I mean, like a
Right.
retirement. So I was kind of confused if she continued that or she's not like doing this like I'm gonna retire if I lose this match, which she did. So I was kind of lost about that. Like I thought she retires if she loses the match, you know? It
So
wasn't a send off or anything like that, you
that
know?
was last year.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So she
So
could
that
have.
was the last
Yeah,
rodeo.
the last
That was the
rodeo.
whole purpose of the last rodeo was the next time she loses, she was getting retired. But I then me and Ever talked about this before in the past. I hate when people do that. The last time I lose, I'm gonna retire. It's
Yeah.
like no, you're not. No, you're not. You're gonna build up to the next big pay-per-view, and that's when you're gonna lose. Just say that. There is no
Well,
because what if a ref forgets your count? What if you're wrestling in a big pay-per-view like Bound for Glory? I forgot who she was facing. Mia Yam. Did I say her name right?
yeah.
Mickey James faced her at Bound for Glory, and I'm just like, damn. What if? I mean, Mickey James losing to her is not a bad idea, but I was like, it's not even for the title. So it's like something like that where it's like, what if the ref thinks, oh, Mia's gonna win? It's Bound for Glory. 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry, you didn't kick out on time. How was I
Yeah.
supposed to know? I hate that. Just say, give yourself 3 strikes. Or better yet, just say, hey, my goal from this point on till whatever pay-per-view, I'm gonna work my way up to face whatever title, the world title, whatever. And then if by that time I get there, and if I don't win the title by that on that pay-per-view, I'm gonna retire. So
Yeah.
basically, this is my tour to this point. If I win the title, great. I'll still keep going. I won't retire. But if I lose, why am I still here? I'm gonna retire. I just, I hate that. But there was rumor to whatever said there was rumor that people thought that this was going to continue, like the whole last rodeo for Mickey James. There is no confirm about it, so it's like all we could give you is like what I said earlier.
Yeah. Are you there?
This year, there is no confirm.
No. I think she was gonna retire unless she won the knockouts title. When she won
Right.
the knockouts title, then I think that's what changed. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I think that the
Yeah.
stipulation was if she loses on her way to winning the knockouts title. And then because she won the
Right.
knockouts title, then that stipulation kind of went away. And then she got hurt, remember? And then she had to give up the championship, or else she would have, still been a fighting champion. That was her opportunity against Trinity. I don't know what lies for Mickey James and Impact Wrestling. I think she's one hell of a coach or a trainer at this point, if not an in-ring wrestler, and love to see her get the opportunity to do that. Work with
Right.
women of Impact. you know, or maybe even go to AEW. You never know. Like
No,
Madison Rain did.
no,
I know.
no.
What do you think of
No.
Madison Rain? How she left Impact high and dry?
What was
What do you think of Madison
what?
Rain?
I don't even know what she's doing.
Yeah, I
What is
know
she doing
exactly. She's not doing anything.
there?
She's supposed to be a coach.
No, Madison Ray needs to go back to TNA.
Yeah, she needs to
Coaching
go
who?
back. Sky Blue.
Nobody takes advice. Nobody takes coaching advice. That's why.
Yeah,
Nobody
nobody
in
listened to
AEW.
CM Punk when he was there.
Yeah, nobody in AEW thinks Jack
Yeah.
Perry said "F you" to CM Punk. Exactly.
Yeah. CM
Exactly.
Punk was giving people advice backstage, and they
Yeah.
just looked at him and said, "F you."
Well, I
He's
think
like, I was former world
Yeah.
champion. Like, we don't care.
Mickey James, the Knockouts division, you know, that's where she should do her work. Then we get to the main event, and I think you kind of painted the picture for the main event really well, Ian. Alex Shelly said, I have to beat Alexander to prove that I am the champion. We knew that going into this matchup. Tensions are high. We saw the match. What did you guys think of the match? It was kind of like a slower pace, prodding match compared to like a lot of the matches we had seen in Bound for Glory as the main event, right? But I still think it told a great story. I still think that they
Right.
you know, they both shined and showed you know, what they're great at doing.
Well, for me, that match for that night throughout the whole car, that's second. Obviously, number one is the Will Ospreay and Mike Bailey. That's number one. But that main event is basically one of my favorites for Bound for Glory main events. It's also one of my top contender for match of the year as well. It was for me because here's the thing, that match meant a lot for me because I've been a fan of Josh Alexander since PWG. And to me, I always knew that he was gonna be the Bret Hart from the North.
Right.
You know? So I always knew that. Alex Shelly, he was my favorite wrestler from the Motor City Machine Guns. The fact that, you know, they weren't using him properly. And then finally he came back the first time I got to see him wrestle was at Sacrifice last year, and you know, facing Jay White. That match was just like, I looked at Ever and I told him, this is why I love Alex Shelly. You know, it's just like he knows how to tell a story in the ring. And the fact that I don't know till this moment, but in the past, Alex Shelly, he's a paramedic.
Yeah.
If I don't know if he still is, but
Wow.
he can't do the things that he used to do because he has an actual job, you know? So actually trying to save people's life, you know? So he gives us what he's able to do without trying to hurt himself, you know? Because he has 2 jobs now. And when he was given the world heavyweight champion, and the fact that he, you know, he won it against all the odds. He retained that Slammiversary, which was very shocking to me.
Right.
And the fact that he main evented Bound for Glory, I got to meet him, got to hold the world title, and the fact that he was able to go in there and walk out as champion, you know, it was a great feeling. It was a great moment for me personally. It kind of sucked because Josh Alexander, I was like, you know, I feel like he deserves another run, but the guy has been champion for almost over 300 days, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe longer than that. I think it's been a full year now. Before he had to vacate the title. But the match, it was a nice slow pace. It gave me kind of like that Bret Hart, Owen Hart match, you know, the chain wrestling style. That's how I kind of took this match. And yeah, it was kind of like slow pace. It started to pick up after like the 15-minute marks. And that's where it was like, is starting to pick up, get good, a lot
Yeah,
of
I
false
agree.
finishers, and the ending was it was one of those matches where it's just like, oh, is it gonna end right here? Nope. Oh, it's still gonna keep going, but it didn't kept going for long, and then
No.
Alex Shelley spiked him in his head and got the 1, 2, 3, and that was like another because Alex Shelley, let's face it, he's an underdog. He's an underdog world champion. And when you get an underdog world champion, and every time that underdog wins, your reaction is the same. Oh my gosh, he won. He retained. He won again. I like that feeling. I like that feeling, and not the feeling of like, oh, I knew he was gonna win.
Right.
Because then it's just like, to me, it's like I just wasted my money then.
Yeah, like Roman Reigns every pay-per-view.
True.
You know,
True.
you know that, right?
But the thing with Roman winning is how he wins, though.
Right.
If it's the same way where it's like, oh, cool, the whole ooh wah spear, it's like once in a while, man, catch him midair, catch him, like hit him with a spear out of nowhere, finish him with a
Yeah.
a roll up once in a while, stuff like that is nice
He
for a
needs a
change for Roman.
submission. Do you think a submission?
He has one, but he hasn't used it in a while.
Right. He doesn't really use it. Another guy I think could use a submission is I think Will Ospreay, as attested to the match with Alexander. I think Ospreay could definitely use a submission in his arsenal. Maybe like a Dragon Sleeper kind of that's already being used by his fellow United Empire, Kyle Fletcher from United Empire. He's using that. So do you think maybe that would help him?
Yes. Is it? But here's my thing: is it where the Will Ospreay doesn't have a flying finisher?
Yeah,
I do agree with you that I feel like he should have a submission finish, but it's weird to. It's one of those things where it's like, what finish would he have though?
yeah.
Sharpshooter.
Doesn't seem like a sharpshooter type of guy.
I feel like he would be like more of a Dean Malenko, like a man of 1,000 holds. Like he could like pull any finish out of nowhere. He could jump up and lock you into something, and then like drop you down, and then finish you off with like a triangle choke or something, or something like that, like what is that? China lock? What's it called? Like the Undertaker one. I forgot what it's called. It's in
Oh, the
Hellgate.
Hellgates.
Yeah,
Hellgate, but like the actual
Hellgate.
name, it's like the Coco Plata or something like that, or something like that. It's Portuguese. It's like a jiu-jitsu move. It's like crazy, like you choke them out, but it's like you're not using so much power. You're just using more of your actual strength. I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. Or just do like a gimmick like that, like, oh, I could do 1,000 submissions and stuff like that.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, I thought the match was fun. I thought it like everything you said, it definitely delivered told a great story, and left us wanting more. We'll see if they'll do a rematch later on. It's a rubber match now, right? Because now it's 1-1.
Yeah, actually, we are getting a Rumble match. The rematch is gonna take place at the UK, UK tapings.
Okay.
So maybe, I don't know, car subject to change, because when we went to the Chicago Heat, we were supposed to get certain matches, and it never happened. So
right, that's true. It's true. Well, I mean, I think that definitely those two delivered a great match, and I thought it was solid throughout. It was definitely felt like the main event.
Yeah, that was actually a good way to close out the show. On paper, me and Ever, we talked about this during our prediction. There's not a bad match on that card.
Yeah.
It was a pay-per-view where I got upset. I got upset when I saw this paper, and I understood. Ever did explain. He's like, you got to remember this. They booked this venue months ago, maybe even a year ago, because they did the 3-night package deal. Right. But to me, when I saw the card, I was just like, bro, why are you guys doing this in Cicero Stadium? Like, you guys could done this somewhere else where you guys could draw 1,000 people, maybe even 2,000 people, especially with the card alone, and also the whole rumor of CM Punk may be there. You know,
Yeah,
that
they
like
had to
you could
turn
have
people
easily
away.
dropped 2,000 people. And
Exactly. They had to turn people away. And it's crazy.
so yeah, it like CM Punk was there on Sunday, right? He
Yeah.
was there before or after, I think believe before the show of the taping on Sunday.
Yeah, maybe during the,
And he just went there to talk to Will Ospreay, to talk a few of the people who was there, and then he talked to Scott Demore and the people who were in the higher
right.
Senate left that wasn't there long. So, but yeah, like Impact Wrestling, when I saw the card, it could have been any other venue. We got the TNA Wrestling gave us what TNA does, but I honestly feel like Bound for Glory, hard to kill, and maybe not hard to kill, but Bound for Glory, since they're gonna do the Hall of Fame, the Hall of Fame, I feel like it should be a 4-hour event.
Yeah. I think so as well.
I agree with Ian with the venue. I mean, even if you saw the hard to kill venue, if you see the hard to kill venue, it's pretty much like a bigger theater or bigger arena. So it's like they could do that in Chicago. You know, there's a Wintrust, there's a
The
Allstate,
Rosemont Theater.
Rosemont Theater, yeah,
yeah.
UIC or whatever it's called. Well, I went to UIC, so the Credit One Pavilion. You know, I used to have WCW there. Like
Yeah.
they go to the UIC Pavilion, or they could go to whatever, Wintrust, or there's so many arenas they could go to that are bigger.
Yeah. Well, I think for Impact, for them, their whole point of doing this is they want to make sure they could say it was a sellout. So they'd rather a smaller venue and say it's guaranteed that they can say it's sold out, we've seen AEW,
Yeah,
they really haven't been selling out many venues lately. They haven't sold out a Chicago event in 2 years, over 2 years. So
damn, it's been that long.
yeah, so they said All Out last of 2022 was a sellout, but apparently it wasn't. There was still seats available, and this
Bound
year,
for Glory last year.
no, I mean for AEW All Out. Talk about Chicago in general. Like AEW is not able to sell out. When we based on that, Impact wants to make sure they go to a smaller venue so they're guaranteed to sell out.
All right, so unfortunately, due to the weather, Sean's having some technical issues, so we're gonna, I guess, continue the show. The only problem is I forgot where we left off. So I guess we'll just go to the main event. The main event was really great ending. It was a great ending to the show with Josh Alexander and Alex Shelley. Shocking that Alex Shelley retained his Impact World Heavyweight Championship. But the highlight of the match, the highlight of the show was the announcement of TNA Wrestling is coming back. Goosebumps just talking about it. Easy, buddy, right there. Sorry, Sean. I know I probably should keep it PG. But anyways, yeah, so the excitement of TNA Wrestling making its return to it's coming back. The name TNA Wrestling, yeah, it's returning. Hard to Kill, January 13 at Las Vegas. Very excited for that. Just can't wait. Super. What's your thoughts on that? And what's your thoughts of the overall show for Bound for Glory? Overall show, I got to give it a 9 out of 10 in my book for this year's Bound for Glory.
I give it an 8.5 out of 10, and yeah, I'm excited for TNA coming back. Actually, never went to a TNA show. It'd be good to actually go to a TNA show one day. If it's not hard to kill, be down the road.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. That's what I'm really hoping for. Yeah, if I don't go to Las Vegas, I mean, it's not gonna be a problem. I mean, I'm gonna watch it regardless. The question is, am I gonna watch it in my own house, or am I gonna go and watch it live? So in the end of the day, I am gonna watch it. Probably be cheaper if I watch it at home. So, but I will say this: with the name TNA Wrestling back, I'm very excited, and I feel like we're going to get a lot of returns and a lot of new faces for that company. Sting's get retired at AEW's Revolution. Hopefully he makes his way to TNA Wrestling to have one more match. Hopefully we see the returning of Kurt Angle. And also I hope we get to see AJ Styles be inducted to the Hall of Fame, because him being inducted to the Hall of Fame into the TNA Hall of Fame and not Impact means so much and better for both the company and for AJ Styles. So yeah, well, anyways, let's wrap this episode up for Sean. Sean, sorry that you got disconnected, but yeah. So I don't even know. I guess because this is
Thank you,
Sean's. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Thanks, Sean, for having us on. And yeah, go check out New Entry Wrestling Podcasts and Pro Wrestling Enforcer, PWE. Right? That's Sean's
Yes.
thing. All right. Well, Sean, thanks for having us on your show. So, Ever, take us home.
Hi guys. Well, I'm Ever, and this is Ian from New Interesting Podcast, and we want to thank Sean for having us on his show, and looking forward to working with him more down the road. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Woo!